Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. We're going to deep dive into carbon pricing today and the International Monetary Fund because they claim that carbon pricing would raise trillions needed to tackle the climate crisis. Now, before we get involved in this, I just want to point out the sheer hypocrisy of everyone attending a climate crisis summit in the United Arab Emirates. No, I've got nothing against the United Arab Emirates. I've been to Dubai before. I've been to Abu Dhabi. Lovely place, lovely country. Not got an issue with that at all. But we're sending all these world leaders around on their private jets, which I imagine run on some form of jet fuel. And we're sending all these people from around the world to an environmental summit. When, hey, have you not heard of Zoom? You could easily Zoom and do it from there, but no. We have to fly everyone in because we're being so hypocritical about the energy crisis that, hey ho, but people don't focus on that. The mainstream media won't focus on that. Now, the IMF are basically saying that what we need to do is to put a price on carbon. Now, that is not going to work for a multitude of reasons. The key reason, as we've explored before, is that with environmental economics, everything sounds good in theory until someone gets the bill. The minute you start getting the bill for something environmental, it's not good. Look at the cost of electricity now. Look at the cost of charging your car. Look at the cost of an electric vehicle itself. Although I appreciate technology is making things better in terms of EVs, doesn't they're going down slightly in price, but doesn't mean they're more effective. Does the cost of charging it offset the price reduction? All of these sorts of things that people aren't really exploring. Why? Because they don't want to know the truth. And the IMF are not going to help by diverting trillions of dollars, by which the world subsidizes fossil fuel production, and putting an implicit price on carbon emissions. Price restrictions like that, they just don't work, and people always find a way around it. Yeah, that's really it in a nutshell. Again, this has all been done under the guise of climate change. This has all been done under the guise of, we need to be the do-gooders that help save the planet. And again, what we've got to look at is a sheer hypocrisy that we're sending all these people in from different parts of the world to the United Arab Emirates, all in their private jets, private planes, whatever, and that's probably not helping emissions. So the very thing they're trying to protect, they're actually being hypocritical about in the first place. Secondly, on the article as well, which is also funny, was that people were protesting about the climate summit being held in Dubai. And what I found interesting on the video, and I understand that Dubai is quite a multicultural place, is that there seems to be a lot of different people in the video from a lot of different parts of the world. Now, I'll make two assumptions here. If they all live in Dubai, my point is muted. I don't know the answer to that, but if they all live in Dubai, my point is muted. If they don't live in Dubai and they have flown halfway around the world on their planes or whatever to protest at a climate summit that they've probably just not helped by flying there, then that's hypocritical in themselves. And again, the thing that I think people are starting to figure out and people are starting to have a lot of issues with is, number one, the cost of all of this. Because as we said, the minute you get the bill for something to do with environmental economics, automatically it's not a good idea because people don't like seeing the bill. Secondly, people need to understand and wake up to the hypocrisy that's going on, because we're pushing people down this route of, well, net zero by 2050 and net zero this and green this and eco that. But they're not also realizing that the amount of mining that's going to have to be done, old school technologies, and processes, the amount of mining that's going to need to be done in order to produce the materials that are then going to help to meet this transition is actually going to have more of an environmental impact than just sitting on your hands and doing nothing. Because you've got to put a lot of time, effort, and intensity into mining. Even if you're using more modern methods, it's still very time intensive. It's still a very dirty business. It's still a very environmentally unfriendly business, But if we need to do that to get all the materials out the ground that we need, by the way, which is nowhere near the demand, but that's a different story. That's actually going to do more environmental destruction in the first place. But that's not the rhetoric that they want you to believe. That's not the rhetoric that you might even know exists. And that's the purpose of doing these videos and having this channel. We need a voice. We need to be able to push back and say, hang on a minute, what we're being told and the way that we're being directed is not very good at all. And I don't know about your country, but I can certainly say from a UK point of view, we are just hemorrhaging finance on all these crazy things when we need to be using those finances more responsibly. And we've got a ticking debt time bomb in the UK. It's not as bad as it's going to be in the USA, but we've got all these things that the government could manage so much better. But now we're on this narrative of climate change and all that sort of stuff. It's just, we're so far gone, it's incredible. But more and more people are waking up to realize it's a hoax, that it's scare tactics more than anything else. And even even there's loads of arguments with economists, I should say, about pricing carbon, and do you price it? Do you not price it? But ultimately, it's just it's just the IMF and governments using scare tactics, and we shouldn't take away from the fact that these people, these leaders on climate incentives, have travelled halfway around the world to be in the UAE to take part in a global summit to try and reduce carbon emissions that they've just contributed to by flying there. Anyway, so the hypocrisy is rife. All I would say, if you do a small favour to us, that is to subscribe to the Property Nomads YouTube channel. We've got a lot more content coming out, a bigger variety of content as well. If you want more property-specific things, also subscribe to the Property Nomads podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, a big variety of podcast platforms. The content on the podcast is quite different from what it is on the YouTube channel, so just go and subscribe to both while you're at it. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're starting to wake up. If you haven't already woken up, hopefully you're starting to wake up even more to all this eco nonsense that is going on. See you in the next video.